Welcome to Handi Quilter Watch and Learn. I'm Kim Sandberg, and with me today is
Kristina Whitney.
And we are excited today to talk about designer and where we find our design inspiration, right?
Yes. So I don't know about, well, actually, I do know about you.
You do know about me.
Our picture albums have a lot of just kind of random pictures.
Yeah.
If you're a quilter and you go to a hotel, you're more than likely going to see something on the floor, on your bedspread, in the elevator, in the bathroom, yes. Traveling, I'm always finding all these great patterns. So I always get made fun of because instead of taking pictures of this beautiful scenery, I'm taking pictures of the floor.
Yeah, me too.
But you know, you find great ideas of things that you think would make great quilting patterns.
I totally agree.
So let me show you on my phone a couple of pictures that I have taken.
I know, I love that you have like a whole folder of this hidden away on your phone.
Yes, so this I believe was carpet somewhere. I don't even remember where.
Nice overlapping swirls.
But wouldn't that be a great digitized all over edge to edge design?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I've got to figure out how to do it.
No, that one, the stitching pattern would take a little bit of figuring out, but if you figured it out on one, all you have to do is flip it on the other, and we'll,
So maybe have some overstitching and stuff. Okay, this was another one that I saw that was just kind of crazy.
Very cool. Is that wallpaper?
That, I believe, is a page in a book.
Oh, even better.
You know how some books have like really fun
the end
designs?
pages?
Yeah, I think that was in a book.
Oh, very cool.
That is my parents' new bathroom floor.
Tile. I like that one.
Some more tile that I saw.
Absolutely.
I think that would be fun for a Christmas quilt that almost looks like holly leaves and berries.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Oh, that's like a...
This is a stained, or not a stained glass, but just an idea on a glass window.
Oh, I remember that. That's actually me in the corner of the picture, isn't it?
That is you.
I do remember that.
That's your hand right there.
That's my hand right there.
This was a ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Oh, very cool. So like that's like the tin ceiling, right?
Yeah, but it's got like that fun little design that goes around the top that would make a great border.
Oh, yeah.
You could also make it into an all over edge to edge.
Yeah. That's really cute.
This was,
Is that one fabric?
This is actually my old mattress.
Oh, even better. So it is fabric on a mattress.
Yes.
I like it.
So we got a new mattress and the old one was sitting up on the wall. I'm like, how come I never noticed this before?
Because you always had
sheets on it.
A sheets or a mattress pad on it,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Oh, that's really cool. And I can totally see, I mean, that would make a great edge to edge that wouldn't have any overstitching. That's really fun.
Just finding ways to make it continuous.
Yeah.
So that's just a couple of pictures that I've got in there. So let's
like
turn
those.
that off.
I know when I travel, one of my favorite things to take pictures of is like iron fences. Like there's often cool scroll work in those that's really fun. I also look at city grates, like the sewer plate covers, I guess is what you call them, the drain covers. Some of those have really awesome designs that I've often thought, that would be so cool, either to turn into a piece quilt or to turn into a digital quilting design.
Yes.
And of course, right now we're talking about a digital quilting design, although let's throw this caveat out there. You could always make a stencil. If you're not a computerized quilter, you could make a stencil out of these same designs and quilt it on your quilt just as easily.
Yes, you could actually even make pattern pieces if you were wanting to piece the top rather than using it as a digital design. So you could create that piece and then put an extra 1/4 inch echo around it so that you've got your seam allowance there.
Exactly.
I've done that on a couple occasions.
Yeah. It's just fun to find those random bits of inspiration out there.
I've stopped. Actually, I haven't stopped because I'm on the freeway, but I've made passengers take pictures of the work on the the medians of the freeways. Just
I've done that.
Fun stuff.
Like the grate along the overpass or something. The fence railing, the guardrail. That's what it's called, guardrail. Yeah.
Some people find designs in fabric.
Yeah.
So I do want to mention the fabric designs because there are some copyright issues. I don't know all of the laws out there, but do be careful if you are copying directly from something that's been copyrighted.
Yeah. And really the rule of thumb there is if you're copying something, it's not available to be sold to other people. That's someone else's original artwork. Yeah. But if you're using it as inspiration to do custom quilting on a quilt, that's okay.
Yep.
Just not reselling.
Yeah. And we also advise against using somebody else's digitized pattern that you
Yes.
see a picture of on the website and copying that. So that person put the effort into it and the time. That is their work.
Yeah.
Just buy it from them.
Absolutely. Support those designers.
Yes. Okay, so I picked out a design that
Okay.
I want to digitize.
Yeah, let's see.
Let's look at my computer screen.
Okay.
I have a Pro Stitcher Designer opened, and I'm in my Tools tab.
Nice.
So I'm going to come over here to my backdrop.
Ah, yes.
And I've already downloaded some pictures onto my computer, and I've got them in this folder here. So these are some things I've digitized, things that I want to digitize. So I'm going to open up this picture,
Okay.
and there is my background.
Oh, now is this like a wallpaper? That's kind of what that looks like to me. Is that wallpaper?
I have no idea.
It's something cool. I like the simple geometry of this though. So,
Yes.
okay, so what are the steps to take and digitize this design?
Well, the first thing I want to do is I want my design to stitch left to right, and I'm going to have it straight up and down.
Okay.
So I'm going to adjust my picture here
Oh,
so
right.
that it's going the correct direction.
Okay.
So if I right click, I get this pop up here, and I'm going to do define horizon.
Okay.
So I'm going to click on that, bringing my mouse over to a point. See, I'm going to use this straight across line.
Okay,
That's what I
gotcha
want
there.
to have horizontal. So I'm going to click and hold down my mouse, and you can see that little black line maybe.
Oh, yeah.
I'm dragging it down, and then I'm going to click there, and it
Oh,
rotates
look at that.
the picture so that it's on that horizontal plane that I want it
That
on.
horizon, yeah.
Yes. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust the size of this.
Oh, that's huge. Wow.
Yes. I want to be able to see my grid when I do this so I can get the points all aligned perfectly, the same measurements. So I'm going to drop this down to, let's say, 15.
Okay.
And I'm going to hit apply.
That way, when you create the design, it will also fit in your throat space
Correct.
of your machine without having to do too much adjustment on the size.
Yes. And I'm going to also change the lightness of my design, or of my background picture.
Yeah.
I'm going to make it a little bit lighter so that when I actually start creating a design, I'll be able to see that better.
I gotcha.
Okay, I'm going to zoom in now, and I'm going to show, I'm going to zoom in right along this upside down T shape, because that's what I want to digitize.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to make that a little bit darker because I can't see it very well.
Yeah. Oh, that's better. Yeah, that's where it's like tone on tone. The one's shiny and the one's not. So.
And I'm going to do one other thing where I'm going to come up to my ruler up here, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to just double check and make sure snap to grid is turned on.
Yep.
So when I drop points, it's going to snap right to those grid lines.
Nice.
That makes it very convenient so that the lines are all aligned perfectly, and I can
straight.
go back and adjust them if I didn't get it exactly how I wanted it. Okay, next thing I want to do is pick my draw tool.
Okay.
I'm going to come up here, and since these are straight lines, I'm going to pick my line tool.
Makes sense.
And I'm just going to do a rough draft.
Okay.
So I'm going to come out to like the midpoint of this other one over here.
Okay.
Just kind of randomly drop a point, drop a point.
And you're just clicking to drop that point.
Yep, I'm just doing a left click. And again, I'm doing a rough
just getting
draft.
the points on there, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, when I'm done, I'm going to right click. And you can see the blue line, that is my design.
Yeah.
What I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove that backdrop. And I'm going to just turn the view off. I'm not going to actually remove the backdrop.
Smart.
I'm just going to turn the view to turn off backdrop so that it's not visible anymore. Okay, so you can see I did not get that lined up very well.
I would say it's a little wonky.
Just a little bit.
Just a little.
But it's really easy to fix.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to now go in and do my shape tool. Notice that everything turned pink, and I've got these anchor points.
Yep.
I'm going to snap those down to my grids.
Okay.
So let's say, let's move this guy over here. And I'm just doing this so that they're on like the main grids.
Gotcha.
And we'll move this guy out one, up one. So that's 1 inch.
Making that lower part of the, like, I keep thinking of this as kind of like an upside down T.
Correct.
Yeah.
Move that one down.
Straightening everything up.
Bring that guy in.
Looks like that first point, yeah. I'm going to do a little backseat designing here.
Okay.
Move that point, Kristina.
Okay, so I have my original line there, and then I've got my changes. I'm going to hit my Enter key just to get rid of those original ones, and I can see what I've got there.
That looks really good.
Okay, so I've got 3 inches here using my grid. I've got the same on that side.
Okay.
I am thinking that I want to make that a little bit longer.
Okay.
Because this guy's kind of long here. And if I try to interlock them,
yeah,
it's going to not work so well.
They'll overlap a little, right?
Yeah. So I'm going to drag that out a full inch.
Okay.
And then, I don't know if I like this 1 inch here.
Yeah, it might need to a little more, a little beefier, but if you do that, you're going to need to do that on the down T. Once again, sorry, I'm totally backseat designing here, but
let's do 1/2 inch.
I'll put in my 2 cents worth. 1.5 inches looks good.
We always do quilting by committee, right?
That's true, we do.
Okay.
We definitely do.
So that's 1.5 inches from there to there. Let's change this guy so it's 1.5 inches from here to here.
Okay.
So I'm going to move it over
quarter
of an inch that way.
On each side.
And 1/4 of an inch that way.
That really is easy to do. Seeing how you're doing that.
Yep, hit that return key. Voila.
That looks awesome. Now this is meant to be like an edge-to-edge design. So I know that Designer has a really cool feature that lets you see how it will do that just in the view right there.
Yeah, so I'm going to select the item. So it's not in shape mode anymore. It's now selected. And in the view, I can hit the interlocking.
Yeah.
And let's zoom out a little bit here.
Oh, look at that.
So my original thought was, and this will be a little bit more detailed process with setting it up, but alternating this row, like flipping that row.
Oh, yeah.
So that, and then offsetting them by half. So this T would be upside or right side up in this space there.
I like that. Well, and that's the way that the actual inspiration picture was. I really like that. It creates,
So it takes a little bit more finagling. Is that a good word to use?
Yeah, but it's simple. It's really, I mean, you set it up that way once and then it's done.
Yep.
So, cool. All right, so I want to see how you do that. So right now you're in the interlocking preview. This isn't actually, the design's not actually that way. You can see the original design is selected there in the center. This is just showing you a preview of how the design would repeat, which is nice to be able to see that without actually having to go in and create a repeat.
Exactly. So let's say I'm doing a design that I want to be an all over edge to edge. This will show me if I have pieces that are going to cross over the top. So that is a great tool because I just recently digitized a design.
Yeah.
Stitched it out and had my daughter say, why do these keep crossing here?
Over each other.
Because I didn't check. So always check your work before you stitch it out.
Exactly, exactly.
And it could have been easily fixed. I could have just moved a couple of points and prevented that crossing over. But in the long run, it all works out.
Yeah.
So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn off that interlocking.
Okay.
And I want to go back to our tools.
Okay.
In the tools, we also have a repeat function here. This will actually repeat the designs and have them be actual designs rather than under the view tab. That was just a visual of what it would look like.
Right.
So on this one, you can play with these. Like I could offset every other horizontal row.
So if you click that out there, there you go. And then if you want to offset them vertically, you could see what would happen there too. Okay. It's just flipping them, giving a little extra space.
And that's doing it for every single one. But let's look at what happens if we do every other row.
Yeah, there we go.
So now we have a whole new design.
Yeah.
But can you visualize what it would be? Oh, let's flip every other.
There you go.
Okay, so that's kind of what I was talking about. But I would have it, I would change the gap.
So the horizontal, let's see, it's the vertical distance that you want to, is that right? Yeah. Gotta think in math terms here. There you go. That moves it up so that you can see if things are going to overlap the way you want them to. You know what? If you take it down to so that the number down is just 2, it'll only show 2 rows, not the number across, the number down. Yeah.
You want the number down more?
No, number down, put that one at 2 and do that. You could leave the number across at 3 and that way it shows a few more repeats.
Okay, so here's our problem.
Yeah, it's too long.
We didn't realize this.
What?
It was flipping every other design, not every other row. So we would want it to flip every other row.
Right.
So we can actually go back and do some changes here. So I'm just going to cancel out of this and start fresh.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got that design. We're going to go in. We're going to repeat. And I'm going to change this to just one. Oops, wrong way. One across. And now I'm going to hit OK.
Now, wait a minute. Do you want to do it at this point, or do you want to save your original design first and then copy it onto another page?
I would save my original design. I like to save mine step by step.
Yeah, me too.
So I've got the small basic shape.
Yeah.
And then that way, if I want to do, say, a corner, I've got that basic shape I can work with. Or a lot of times I'll create designs and I'll be like, oh, well, what if I did this? If I've got that basic shape saved, then I can go back and create multiple designs with that same basic shape.
Exactly.
Okay.
So
let's pretend like I already saved my basic shape.
And I happen to know that she did when she
saved somewhere
designed
else.
stuff before. Yeah. But yeah, just want to point that out. You always want to save that basic shape first because then you have that original building block to start from.
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to hit OK.
Okay.
So this is one unit now. Now if we go in and do repeat, I'm going to flip, let's do number across. We're going to keep that as 1. I don't know if it will let us flip every other row.
No.
No.
You might just need to go in and use rotate. So if you hit cancel, okay, so I'd walk you through how I would do that. First of all, I would duplicate this one. So do
so I did
copy and paste.
Yep, I did Control V, Control Control C, Control V.
Right.
You can also do that up here.
Copy and paste.
Okay.
And then
and I would pull this up so people can see our sequence.
Oh
view.
yeah, you've got that kind of squished down there a little bit. So there you go. So now we've got all those artworks. So I would take and those 3 that are selected, just grab them there in the center and pull them apart from the other ones. And then you can go to the Modify tab and you can choose Flip. Yep. And it'll flip that one upside down and then you can offset it. You can just move it over and slide it in there so you can see. Because this is actually the design that was on that wallpaper, whatever it was. I don't think we decided.
That inspiration piece that we don't know where it came from.
Fabric, wallpaper, whatever it was. That looks really cool.
Yep. So that's kind of the concept. I could save those as a group, the whole thing, and do a repeat of that. And you'll notice I've got a kind of a straight line across the top and a straight line across the bottom. Yeah. When I do the repeats under Tools, I'm going to have straight lines.
Oh, very cool.
Let's get rid of those across because they're not connected properly.
Yeah. Oh, that looks awesome. And that's pretty much what the original design was. That looks so cool. Yep. And that was so easy. And you know, from this point with Designer, you can either apply stitches to it and then save it as an HQV and use it with your Pro Stitcher, or you could actually print it out and create a stencil and then be able to stencil across, or even print it out as a pantograph and then use this as a pantograph and quilt from the back of your machine.
Yep, lots of options out there. If you didn't want to go through the time of creating an all over edge to edge in Designer, you can take that original piece to your Pro Stitcher and go through and do all your repeats across, getting one row, duplicate that row, flip it, make it into one group. Should we do that?
I was going to say, let's actually show them how to do that. I know that this is actually a question, a phone call that we get kind of often. How do I repeat 2 rows that are 2 separate designs and then put them back together again? So let's show them how to do it. Okay,
I went back to my basic design here. And now I am going to go up to our homepage.
Well, you'll have to add stitches, first, Kristina.
Oh, stitches.
So preview tab. I know.
Preview tab. Let's make stitches.
Yay, there we go.
And you'll notice that over here on the sidebar, it now has a run button. I know it has stitches. And let's select that guy and send it now over to our Pro Stitcher. So go to the home page and we'll go to send. Yes, I would like to
please
open my Pro Stitcher.
Send it over. And we'll wait.
Okay, so now I've got Pro Stitcher. I'm gonna maximize that.
Nice.
And this is in simulation mode because I'm on my laptop. First thing I want to do is create an area because I want to know how big I need to make this.
Okay.
So area tab, I'm going to do 2 corner, and I'm going to put in, let's say my quilt is 45 inches wide.
Yeah, let's do
we'll
45 by
one.
60.
Okay, 45 by 60, that works.
That'll give us enough space to really see this design in action. Okay.
And I'm going to refresh so you can see and move my crosshairs out of the way there.
Oh, your width didn't register.
That was a skinny quilt.
I don't know how many times I've done that.
Okay, there's my pop-up. Okay, just a little delay there. Okay, let's go back to select. And my design is 9 inches wide by 5.5 inches tall.
Okay.
I can change that height and width if I want to at this point.
Okay. We can just stick with that, don't you think, for right now?
For purposes today, I'm going to leave it as it is. However, I am going to select that design and I'm going to drag it down. There we go.
Pop it into that area.
Yep, just kind of in a rough ballpark. That way I can see how many repeats I need to do across. So I'm going to do a repeat tab. I'm on basic and I am on horizontal.
Okay.
And I'm going to add repeats. So it's a little bit out, but it's a little bit in there.
Yeah.
So I'll just hit the stretch button.
And make it fit.
Makes it fit. Perfect. Okay, so I have got that design now in my workspace. It shows up as repeat design. I'm going to go in and the edit tab, I'm going to duplicate that design.
Yeah.
So now I've got, oh, I guess I duplicated it twice. Undo button is your friend.
It is. It's one of my favorite tools in Pro Stitcher for sure.
Notice when I duplicated it, it loaded it point to point. That is fine. We're going to do some changing with it anyway.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is go ahead and modify it. And to rotate it, I'm going to flip it. It is now upside down.
Ah, nice.
And I'm going to go into a line. And I want to align it to the center.
Oh, good. Okay.
Okay, let's refresh so we can see that a little better. And now I want to reposition. And I could just drag it down, or I can use my nudge features. I'm going to change this up to 1 and nudge it down.
Nudge is a little faster that way.
Yep. But notice that it's stacked right on top of each other.
It's not offset.
Let's change that to 0.5. Whoa. I changed it to 5. I am having some problems with my
Kristina's got heavy fingers today.
I need my keyboard and mouse. Okay, let's move that back down. Okay, I'm happy there. What I'm going to do with this one is I am going to go into my repeat tab, and this time I'm going to wrap.
Okay.
And I am going to do the row. Let's see. Actually, no, let's try window.
There you go.
Window 1/2.
Perfect.
So now it's set how I want it.
Yeah, that looks really good. I think the spacing even looks really good.
I mean, I could nudge it up just a tiny bit. If I wanted to get really picky, we'll change that back down to point. Oh, goodness. 0.01, enter. And I can nudge it up, just little movements. I could even turn my grid on if I really wanted to have it super precise. We're not going to take the time now. What I want to do now is select none of my designs.
Right.
So they're both grayed out.
Okay.
Then I'm going to do multi-select. And I'm going to come up into my workspace. And I know repeat design was the first design.
Right.
So I want to pick that one first, then pick my second one. They're now combined in a group.
Now, here's my question though, and this is a question we always get. Okay, right now you have it stitching from left to right and then from left to right again. What do we recommend there? Because everybody's going to say, wait, do the second one right to left. What's our recommendation there?
Our recommendation is to stitch left to right.
Exactly.
It works much better for your quilt. Some people, if your machine is timed just perfectly, you'll be able to stitch right to left. This is a straight line design though. It's going to be really hard on your machine. and you're more than likely going to get some shredding.
Especially if you're using a more, a finer thread, a more delicate thread. If you're using a heavier weight thread, you might be able to do it. I mean, it can be worth a try. But I know for me, not having thread breaks, I can clip it and bring it back and not have any thread breaks to worry about. It's much easier.
I found it saves me time to go back and start the row at the left and go across than to have to deal with any shredding.
I totally agree.
But, you know, it's your personal preference. Absolutely. You could have swapped the start and end point if you wanted to.
On the second row.
Yep. So. Okay. I'm going to baseline to freeze that as one unit. So you notice over here, it changed. It's just one unit now. Now I can go back into my repeats, and I'm just going to hit this fill button.
Very
and
cool.
I'm going to add one more repeat. Oops, wrong way. We're going to take off one of those repeats, and we're going to go to vertical and add one more repeat. And I'm going to hit the stretch button.
Make it fit.
And look at that.
That is awesome.
We created our own edge-to-edge design from a picture of something that I saw somewhere. And now I can stitch that out.
That is such a cool one. I love the really graphic quality of that, the straight line design. And I love seeing too how easy it is to use the tools both in Designer and Pro Stitcher to make this work. Yep. Pretty simple. Pretty simple.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, we just want to say thanks for watching today. Be sure to give us a like, subscribe, and why don't you share some of your pictures of some of your favorite inspiration designs and where you found them. I know for me, like we mentioned earlier, it's all different kinds of places.
And maybe if we find a picture of one that we really, really like, maybe we'll digitize it and send it to you.
Ooh, that's a good idea. I really like that idea.
For one lucky winner.
So be sure to send those pictures and have fun quilting this week.